My beloved brothers and sisters, today I remind myself and you of a simple yet powerful truth: give your worries to God. Every one of us faces challenges, stress, and anxiety. It may be about our health, our wealth, our children, our future, or even our past. But remember, no burden you carry is hidden from your Creator. He knows what is in your heart, and He is fully aware of what keeps you awake at night. When you surrender your worries to God, you are not giving up. You are showing trust. You are admitting you are limited, but He is unlimited. You are recognizing that while you do your best, the outcome is always in His hands. And what better hands to leave your matters in than the hands of the most merciful, the most loving? My dear brothers and sisters, stress and anxiety come when we think we control everything. But the truth is, we control nothing. Our duty is to try, to pray, and then to rely on God. He says, indeed, with hardship comes ease. Quran 94g6. So if you are going through a hardship, the ease is near. Do not despair. Remember that worrying does not change your future, but trusting God changes your heart. It fills it with peace. It gives you strength to keep going. It reminds you that no matter how dark it seems, the light of God's help is on its way. So today, tell your heart enough worrying. Put your head on the ground in prayer. Pour out your heart to the one who can change everything. And walk away with certainty that He heard you. And He will take care of you in ways you never imagined. Your worries are not hidden from God. He knows and understands every pain you feel. No matter how alone you may feel in your struggles, no matter how heavy your heart may be, remember that the one who created you is fully aware of every tear that falls, every sigh that escapes your lips, and every thought that troubles your mind. Nothing is hidden from Him. Not your silent cries, not your sleepless nights, not the confusion or the fear that grips your heart. He sees it all, and He knows it better than you know it yourself. Sometimes, we go through moments in life where we feel overwhelmed, when it seems that no one around us truly understands what we are going through. We may try to explain our pain to others, but words fail us. We may try to hide our sadness behind smiles, thinking that no one will notice the storm within. But the reality is that while people may not always see what you are going through, while people may judge you from the outside or misunderstand you, God never fails to understand. His knowledge of your condition is complete, and His mercy is greater than your worries. When you feel like the burden is too much to carry, remind yourself that the one who placed you in this situation is the same one who can ease your path, grant you strength, and guide you through it in the most beautiful way. There are moments when you might wonder why you have to endure so much, why certain doors remain closed, why certain prayers seem unanswered. In those moments, remember that God's wisdom is beyond our limited understanding. He knows what you are going through, and He knows what is best for you, even when you do not see it right now. Sometimes what you think is a delay is actually protection. Sometimes what you think is a hardship is actually a path towards something far greater. And through it all, He is closer to you than you can ever imagine. He listens to every plea you make, whether it is spoken out loud or kept hidden deep within your heart. Even when you feel you can't find the words to express your pain, He already knows what is in your heart. When you feel tired, when you feel that your strength is fading, turn to Him. Speak to Him in your own words. Tell Him about your worries, your fears, your hopes, and your dreams. He is the best listener, and He will never tire of hearing from you. You do not need fancy words or long speeches. Even the simplest of prayers, even a single tear shed in the quiet of the night, reaches Him. He knows the weight you carry, and He is ready to help you, to heal you, and to replace your sadness with joy. But you must trust Him. You must believe that He knows what you are going through, and that He has not abandoned you. Every pain you feel, every difficulty you face, is seen by God. And for every moment of patience, for every time you choose to put your trust in Him rather than give in to despair, He is preparing a reward for you. In this world and the next, no pain you endure is wasted. No tear you shed is lost. Every part of your struggle is known to Him, and every part of it is written down. And the reward for those who are patient, who rely upon Him, who give their worries to Him, is beyond what the mind can imagine. So whenever you feel overwhelmed, whenever your heart feels heavy with worry, Pause for a moment and remind yourself that you are not alone. Your Creator, your Sustainer, your Protector. He knows, and He understands. Give your worries to Him. Ask Him for ease, for guidance, for strength, and then walk forward with the certainty that He is with you, watching over you, and preparing for you something better than what you are worried about. Because His knowledge is perfect, His plan is perfect, and His mercy is endless. Giving your worries to God is a sign of strength, not weakness. It means you trust His plan. So often in life, we are made to believe that showing emotion, asking for help, or surrendering our matters to a higher power is a sign that we are weak or incapable. But in reality, it takes true strength and courage to admit that we cannot control everything and to hand over our worries to the one who can. The strongest people are those who, despite their pain and struggles, bow their heads in prayer and say, "O my Lord, I leave my affairs in your hands, for you know what is best for me." This act of surrender is not giving up, it is not defeat. It is a powerful declaration of faith, a statement that your heart is connected to the Creator and that you believe His plan is better than anything you could ever plan for yourself. Nor is it when you give your worries to God, you are acknowledging that you have done your part. You have tried, you have worked hard, you have prayed, and now you leave the outcome in the hands of the one who controls all outcomes. It shows that you understand your position as a human being, limited in ability, limited in knowledge, limited in strength. And at the same time, it shows that you recognize God's unlimited power, wisdom, and mercy. You are saying with your heart that you trust His plan, even when you do not understand it, even when things seem delayed or difficult, even when life doesn't go the way you imagined. That trust, that reliance is what gives your soul peace. It is what allows you to sleep at night with a calm heart, knowing that whatever comes your way, it is by His will, and it will ultimately be for your good. It is easy to try to handle everything on your own, to think that you must carry every burden by yourself, to think that asking God to take over your worries is a sign that you are weak. But in truth, it is the opposite. When you ask Him for help, when you pour out your concerns before Him, when you say, "I leave it to you, O Allah," you are proving that your faith is stronger than your fear. You are showing that you trust His promise that He will never abandon those who call upon Him. You are choosing faith over anxiety, trust over stress, hope over despair. That choice is what makes you strong. That choice is what lifts you above your difficulties and brings you closer to Him. Think of the prophets, the most beloved of God's creation. They faced trials far greater than ours, and yet they always turned to God with their worries. Did this make them weak? No. It made them examples of strength, patience, and trust. When you follow in their footsteps, when you give your worries to God, you are following the path of the most noble and strong people who ever walked the earth. And in doing so, you gain strength from your connection with your Creator. You are not abandoning your responsibilities or sitting back idly. Rather, you are doing your part and then leaving the matters you cannot control to the one who controls everything. Is it giving your worries to God frees your heart from the heavy chains of constant anxiety and fear? It allows you to focus on what you can do, while trusting that He will take care of what you cannot. It brings light to your heart and gives you a sense of security that no worldly solution can ever provide. This strength is not seen by the world, but it is known to God, and it reflects in your patience, your calmness, your ability to endure, and your hope for a better tomorrow. So do not ever feel that turning to God and asking Him to handle your worries is a weakness. It is the greatest strength you can show. It means that you have placed your trust in the most trustworthy, that you have faith in His mercy, that you believe His plan is full of wisdom even when you do not see it now. And surely, when you trust Him, He will guide you, help you, and open for you doors you never thought possible. Because when you rely on God, you are never truly helpless. Nor is you are in the care of the one whose plan is perfect and whose mercy knows no end. Stress comes when we think we control everything. But only God is in control. One of the greatest sources of anxiety and restlessness in our lives is the false belief that we are in charge of everything that happens to us. We plan, we prepare, we strive to secure our future, and while effort is necessary, we sometimes forget that outcomes are not in our hands. We convince ourselves that if we just try a little harder, worry a little more, or plan every detail, we can prevent anything from going wrong. But life constantly reminds us that no matter how much we try to control, the final decision always belongs to God. This truth, when accepted, lifts a heavy weight off our shoulders. But when we ignore it and continue to act as if everything depends solely on us, the stress becomes unbearable. Nor is it think about how many times you have worried about something far beyond your ability to change. Perhaps you have stayed awake at night worrying about the future, your job, your health, your children, your finances. Perhaps you have replayed conversations, regrets, or mistakes in your mind over and over again, thinking you can somehow change the past or perfectly predict the future. But the reality is, no amount of worry can alter what God has already written. When you believe you are the master of your fate in every sense, you take upon yourself a role that was never yours to begin with. And that is where stress finds its way into your heart. You feel the pressure to fix everything, to solve every problem, to plan for every possible outcome, and in doing so, you exhaust yourself. But the moment you remind yourself that only God is in control, you start to feel relief. You start to breathe easier, because you understand that while you have responsibilities to work, to plan, to make wise decisions, the results are in God's hands. And His plan is always better than yours. What you thought was a delay may be His protection. Nor is it what you thought was a setback may be His way of preparing you for something greater. What you thought was a loss may be the beginning of a blessing you could not see. When you surrender that control to Him, when you stop trying to carry a burden that belongs only to Him, the stress that once weighed you down begins to fade. Your heart finds peace in trusting that the one who controls the universe is also watching over your affairs with love and mercy. This does not mean that we stop trying or that we leave our duties. Islam teaches us to tie the camel, to make effort, and then to trust God. The key is to balance effort with reliance. We are meant to work hard, to make good choices, but at the end of the day, we must leave the results to God. If we achieve success, we thank Him, knowing it came by His permission. If we face hardship, we are patient, knowing it came by His wisdom. Nor is it think we control everything. We set ourselves up for disappointment, because life will not always follow our plans. But when we accept that God is the one in control, we are able to handle whatever comes our way with strength, because we know that everything happens for a reason, and that reason is always in our best interest, whether we see it now or later. Every day, people around us chase after control. They want to control time, people, outcomes, and circumstances. But no one can stop what God has decreed, and no one can take away what He has written for you. Understanding this gives you freedom. It frees you from constant worry about things you can't change. It teaches you to focus on what you can do and leave the rest to the one whose knowledge, power, and mercy have no limits. And in that reliance, in that surrender, is where true peace is found. Stress may visit your heart, but it will not stay long when you remind yourself, I am not in control, God is. And His plan for me is always perfect. True peace comes when you do your best and leave the rest to God. So often, we find ourselves struggling with inner turmoil because we expect to control every detail of our lives. We convince ourselves that if we just try harder, think longer, or worry more, we can shape every outcome exactly the way we want. But the reality is that no matter how much effort we put in, no matter how carefully we plan, we are still human beings with limits. The true peace that our hearts long for does not come from trying to control the uncontrollable. It comes when we give our best effort, fulfill our responsibilities, and then place our trust in the one who controls all affairs. It comes from knowing that after we have done what is in our power, we can rest, because what remains is in the hands of the most merciful, the most wise. Doing your best is part of your duty. It is a form of worship. Striving to make good choices, to work hard, to stay honest and sincere in your efforts is what is required of you. But alongside that effort must come reliance on God. Without reliance, effort alone leads to exhaustion and stress. Because you can try, but if you refuse to let go of what is beyond your control, your heart will never find calm. It is only when you say, I have done all I can, and now I trust my Lord to take care of what I cannot, that peace enters your heart. This peace is not weakness. It is strength. It is the strength of knowing that your job is to try, and God's job, which He has promised to fulfill, is to take care of the outcome in the best way for you. Look at the lives of those who truly relied on God. Their hearts were not free from sadness or struggle, but they carried with them a peace that the world could not shake. They did their part, and they trusted that whatever God decreed, it would be full of mercy and wisdom, even if they could not see it right away. This is what we must aim for in our lives: to live with effort, but not with obsession; to work with sincerity, but not with constant fear of what may or may not happen; to plan for the future, but to remember that the future belongs to God. When you do this, you will find that the storms of life no longer drown you. They may shake you, nor is it but they will not destroy you, because your heart is anchored in faith. There is something so beautiful about leaving matters in God's hands after you have done your best. It means you acknowledge His greatness and your own limits. Nor is it it means you trust that He sees what you do not, and He knows what is good for you in ways you cannot comprehend. And it means you accept that sometimes what you want is not what you need, and God will always choose what is best for you, even if it is not what you expected. When you understand this, you stop fighting what is beyond your control. You stop stressing over things you cannot change. And you start living with a calm heart, knowing that your Creator is taking care of you. This is true peace. The peace that comes from surrendering to the will of God after you have fulfilled your duty. It allows you to sleep at night without worry, to walk through your day without the weight of anxiety crushing you, to face challenges without losing hope. Or is it it teaches you that success is not only in the result, but in the effort combined with trust. And it reminds you that no matter what happens, as long as you have done your part and left the rest to God, you are exactly where you need to be. You are His care, and there is no safer, more peaceful place for your heart to rest. Worrying does not solve your problems, but prayer and reliance on God bring solutions. How many times have we sat in silence, lost in thought, replaying our difficulties over and over again in our minds, as if by worrying we could somehow change what is happening? We imagine the worst, we feel the heaviness in our hearts, and we become trapped in fear of what might happen. But no matter how long we sit and worry, our problems do not go away. The stress only grows, the burden only feels heavier, and our strength begins to fade. This is because worry is not what brings answers or relief. It drains us, weakens us, and distances us from the peace we seek. It fills our minds with confusion, but offers no way out. On the other hand, when we turn our worry into prayer, when we turn our fear into reliance on God, we open the door to solutions and peace that we could never have found through worrying alone. A prayer is not just a ritual of words. It is the act of humbling ourselves before the one who controls everything and asking Him to take care of what we cannot. When you pray sincerely, when you raise your hands or bow your head and pour out your heart, something changes within you. The burden begins to lift. The worry that was pressing down on your chest starts to ease because you are sharing it with the one who is capable of handling it. You are admitting that you are weak, but your Lord is strong, that you are lost, but He can guide you, that you are struggling, but His help is near. In that moment of prayer, nor is it you are no longer carrying the weight alone, you are giving it to God, who never tires of helping His servants and who loves to hear them call upon Him. Nor is it reliance on God does not mean that you sit back and do nothing. It means that you do your part with effort and sincerity. Is it and then you let go of the part you cannot control. It means you trust that God knows what is best for you, that He hears your prayers, and that His response will come at the right time and in the right way. Sometimes we think that by worrying, we are being responsible, that we are showing care or concern. But in truth, excessive worry is a sign that we are forgetting who is really in charge. When we rely on God, we are showing that we believe in His power, His mercy, and His perfect wisdom. We are showing that we understanding no problem is too big for Him, no solution is beyond His ability. Think of how often in life we have faced problems that seemed impossible to solve. In those moments, did worrying ever bring the answer? Or did relief come when we finally let go and turned to God with sincerity, trusting that He would open a door for us? Every difficulty we face is an opportunity to strengthen our connection with God. It is a chance to remember that He is the ultimate source of help. And when we choose prayer and reliance over worry, we gain both solutions and peace of mind. Because even if the solution does not come immediately, the heart that relies on God is at peace knowing that it is in safe hands. The heart that prays is comforted by the knowledge that God is listening and that He will never abandon the one who calls upon Him. Worry ties you down, but prayer lifts you up. Worry darkens your heart, but reliance on God fills it with light. So, whenever you find yourself overwhelmed by problems, remember worrying will not change your situation, but turning to God will change you. It will give you strength, patience, and hope, and in the right time. Nor is it will bring the solution that you seek in a way more beautiful than you could have imagined. Every hardship comes with ease. Trust in God's timing and wisdom. Life is a journey filled with ups and downs, moments of joy and moments of pain. No one is free from trials. Each of us faces challenges that test our patience, our strength, and our faith. But in the heart of every trial is a promise from God, a promise that ease is always near. With every difficulty, God has placed relief. Even if we cannot see it right away, His timing is perfect, and His wisdom is beyond our understanding. When we are in the middle of hardship, it is easy to feel overwhelmed and think that the pain will never end. But if we take a step back, if we reflect, we will realize that no hardship has ever lasted forever. Just as the night is followed by the morning, every trial will be followed by ease. This is the way God has designed our lives, to remind us that after struggle comes comfort, and after tears comes a smile. When we face hardship, we often want immediate answers, immediate relief. Our hearts cry out for the situation to change. But part of trusting in God's wisdom is accepting that ease will come at the right time, not necessarily when we want it, but when it is best for us. Sometimes the delay in ease is itself a form of mercy. God may be preparing us, strengthening us, or protecting us from something we cannot see. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually a lesson, a chance to grow closer to Him, to turn to Him with sincerity, to purify our hearts, and to learn reliance and patience. And when that ease finally arrives, it often comes in ways more beautiful than we imagined, and at a moment when we appreciate it most. Hardship softens the heart, teaches humility, and draws us towards prayer. It reminds us of our need for God. Without hardship, many of us would forget Him, become arrogant, or think we are self-sufficient. But when we face difficulty, we remember that there is only one who can truly help us, only one who can change our condition. And when we place our trust in His timing, our hearts find peace even while the trial continues. Because we know that ease is promised and God never breaks His promise. His wisdom means that He knows exactly what we need and when we need it. What we see as a delay may actually be the perfect moment in His plan. We can look at our own lives and see how many times we thought a hardship would never end, but eventually the ease came. The pain passed. The door opened. The solution arrived. And in hindsight, we realized that the timing was right, that the lessons we learned during the struggle were valuable, that the experience shaped us into better people. This reflection strengthens our faith and teaches us to trust God in future hardships. It teaches us to be patient, to have hope, and to believe that no pain is wasted, no struggle is in vain. Every hardship carries within it hidden blessings, and those blessings are revealed at the right moment. So when you are tested, remind yourself of God's promise. Remind yourself that ease is coming, that relief is near, and that your task is to remain patient, to keep turning to God, and to trust in His timing. Do not rush His plan, because His plan is better than anything you could design for yourself. Do not let despair enter your heart, because the one who is testing you is the most merciful, the most wise. And when the ease comes, as it surely will, you will look back and see how every moment of the trial had a purpose, how every tear was seen by God, and how every prayer you whispered was heard. In that moment, you will be grateful not only for the ease but also for the hardship that brought you closer to your Creator.